This episode is sponsored by Pom Pom's Gifts. Our garment bags are a great gift for the bigger kids and adults. They come in a variety of colors to suit any taste and can be made extra special with a personalized embroidered name or monogram. To order, go to pompoms.com and use code SAGCFS for free shipping.
Thank you, Pom Poms.
We have another sponsor, Bracha?
Such an exciting one. This episode of Such a Good Call is sponsored by our friends at Yonatees Custom Printing. How do we have such a beautiful logo and branding? How do we make such killer merch and ship and fulfill them? All because of Yonatees Custom Printing. They are so professional and have such a good eye. Make sure to reach out for anything custom design and apparel printing. Anything you need, just go to yonatees.com/custom or email orders @yonatees.com. That's YONATEES.com.
Thank you, Yonatees.
Welcome to Such a Good Call podcast
With your girls, Bracha and Jackie. Today we have a really special guest, Frumee Taubenfeld.
Hi.
Frumee's an influencer who has 45,000 Instagram followers. You know her for her fashion, her realness, and of course her infectious personality. Welcome, Frumee.
Guys, did you get that from my mom?
We came up with it all on our own.
Thanks.
We didn't even use AI.
Thank you so much. By the way, this whole AI spiel, I don't even know anything about it, but weird. Anyways.
Also, like, it doesn't feel real when it's AI.
I know. That whole, by the way, that whole
The
thing.
video with the
video with
shirts.
all. I did not feel comfortable to repost that because I'm like, this doesn't look real,
Yeah.
normal.
And also, they didn't do it.
I know.
Like, let's
And,
not give
I
them
wish
credit.
they did it. I was like a little like offended by it too.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't cool. But anyways, we digress. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for being here.
This is a real honor. I feel really special. I feel really cool.
You are really cool.
No. But no, this is really awesome. Thank you so much for having me and taking the time.
So for me, everyone knows you as being like so open and real.
Yes.
And even though you share so much on your Instagram, it's still like a short form content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for
like
sure.
we really hope this conversation that we're able to do on a podcast, which is like much more long form,
Yeah.
like lets us like delve deeper into
Let's do
everything
it.
from
I'm
me.
ready. I'm here. I'm generally known for wearing my heart on my sleeve. So, and I also, I say it like it is.
Yeah.
And I try to be as respectful as I can.
No, that's why we wanted you. We're
Yeah.
like, that's what we do here. We talk about things that are real and
Yeah.
honest, and that's you.
Yeah, and it could be a little controversial, but sometimes we need that. And
we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into all of it.
Yeah, okay. So let's
Okay,
go
so
in.
the first thing we do every episode is we dedicate each episode to a hostage.
Oh, I love
So
that.
Bracha's going to
Yeah.
do the hostage dedication.
Okay. This week's episode is dedicated to Inbar Heyman. Inbar was 27 years old. She's the daughter of Chaim and Ifat and sister to younger brother Ido. Inbar was a talented and loving woman who always was giving to others. Inbar was creative and full of life, and she shared her passion and her art with the world around her. She was in college studying art. Inbar was a talented graffiti artist, a passionate, creative person, and Maccabi Haifa fan. Inbar was always smiling and always sharing. She loved the outdoors and hiking. Inbar was taken hostage alive on October 7th when she was volunteering at the Nova Festival. Witnesses saw Inbar first hiding under the stage and then moved to hiding in the bushes, where she was dragged away by two terrorists holding knives and put her on a motorcycle. Eventually, Inbar's family and boyfriend Noam were sent a video on Telegram that showed Inbar on the floor, bruised and covered in blood, with four terrorists surrounding her. Inbar, known to many as Pink for her incredible graffiti art, which she signed off as Pink, is remembered by her talent and by her love. Inbar was murdered after 72 days in Gaza. So this is our first hostage that we're doing that was like killed in captivity. Everyone else so far is still alive. The world misses the talented Pink, who not only shared her talent with the world around her, but also shared the beauty that was inside her. So Hashem, please, we need everyone to come home, and to her family, we're with you. We're holding your hands, and we're ready for Mashiach. We're waiting.
And her neshama shall have an aliyah.
Amen. Amen.
Also, I like maybe we could post on our Instagram like some of her graffiti. Did you?
Yeah.
find
Oh,
that?
I'd love that.
I'd really like to see that.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
So beautiful. How'd you get this info?
research.
Bracha does really deep dives. Like
Nice.
also like she wants. It's not just like like you want to get to know
Yeah.
each person.
So what happens now is that like we do someone, and then sometimes you hear like they were released or whatever, and everyone's like, "That's my guy!" Like you know
Right,
so much
like,
about
really
them.
feel- yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's so beautiful,
Yeah,
guys.
it's been a really nice experience, actually. I mean, hard, but
No, for
I
sure.
know it's really special.
necessary.
It is
Okay,
special.
but then we move on. It's always a little weird.
Always
but-
have to shift.
Yeah.
A hard shift.
But
here.
we have Frumee here, and we have a great episode, and we are so excited. And you guys, everything that you've been like wanting to ask from me, like we got you. Like we are about to do that. So on Such a Good Call, we discussed this. Like we always talk about Paris Hilton, for
Yes.
example, because
That was a little bit of a mind, game. With me.
yeah.
I'm like, what?
So
Paris?
we were telling Frumee that like we love Paris Hilton, and she's like confused, And most people when they hear Paris Hilton, they think like that's hot or she's
Yeah.
a dumb blonde, but she's a huge advocate for so many like important things.
She actually was in this school for like troubled teens as a kid. And now, like they really abused them, and it was like really terrible. And now she advocates for them to be like closed down. She does.
Like she's their voice.
She's their voice. She like goes to
Wow.
Congress and like creates laws to like. She really does amazing work.
knew?
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
never
exactly.
know.
She's not so vocal about it.
No, she is. You just
She
like
is, but like people who don't
don't-
actually like pay attention to what she's doing
Yeah.
just know her.
No, it's
from
crazy
her-
for me. She goes to like Senate and speaks, and her voice is different.
Totally
like
different.
it's not like her like
Like
And
she has a
like
low
she's
voice.
eloquent and
Yeah.
like
Totally
knows
eloquent,
yeah.
very
smart.
genius
Yes,
smart.
and she talks a lot about
Wow.
her ADHD, which like I'm an ADHD girly, so it like
Right.
means a lot.
Same.
I feel like we all know from me because you're so open and you share. But as much as we think we know you, there's so much more that we could learn from you and about you.
thank you.
And I feel like there's a lot of things that you get judged on. And
Yeah.
I think that it's important for you to have this time and space to like set the record straight and
Thanks.
share. So I don't know. I think influencers in general too, like people think that they can have an opinion on them. They think that there's a stigma.
So I think it's just because, listen, like we put ourselves out there for sure, but it's not like, oh, we're putting ourselves out there for you to like criticize us to us. It's like someone actually said a comment yesterday, like, I don't think you should be doing your fashion shows in your bedroom. And I'm like to her, I don't remember me asking you. Like, the only like critique I'm looking for is from people who I actually know, who I respect, and who I'm asking from. And yes, I am putting myself out there, but that doesn't give anyone a right to say to my face or anyone's face really, especially if someone you don't know, like giving their unsolicited opinion. I just think it's off and weird because I'm just always thinking like, would I literally like type to Lahavdil, Kim Kardashian and be like, I think that what you're wearing is too tight. No, because like,
it's
who
not your
cares? She like exactly like.
But also, like, if this person's messaging you and saying, like, you shouldn't do these in your bedroom, like, okay, if you were an influencer
Right.
and you didn't want to do it in
Or
your bedroom,
don't
don't
watch
do
if
it.
it makes
Like,
you uncomfortable.
I also just think that there's like this whole misconception of what an influencer actually is, and it just thinks like it's more of like a hobby. I still get questions of like, what's your
Full-time job.
and it's so frustrating.
that is so annoying.
No, that's insane.
Because yes, like we're evolving with Instagram and social media in general. It's still so new.
Yeah.
The fact that they have social media classes in college now, I'm jealous of those who are able to take it because I wish I was able to.
Right.
But I grew up with Instagram. I was born with Instagram. I started posting literally, I think within the year that it started.
we know when you start.
We did such a deep dive for me.
God. Do I still look the same? Did I? age?
Yeah. No,
Beautiful.
but like I told Bracha, I was like, this girl is hustling. Like
You hustled hard in the beginning.
Yeah, you're like,
really-
hashtag call me, hashtag fpelkovitz@gmail.com.
I still
was like,
hustle.
yes.
I'm still putting out there. Come and like email me
I
if you
love
want
it.
to work with me as long as you pay, because that's another thing.
Yeah.
People don't want to pay.
That's insane.
And
So what do they
think
do?
that, like,
They expect you to just.
no, they either want to barter, where I'm like, I don't care to barter unless
don't
you
need more
want to give me a
clothing.
Chanel bag
Uh-huh.
for like legit, like a real. I'm not bartering with you. I don't care. Or it's like, oh, do you mind shouting me out? Now here, yes, I do shout out like on one story,
Right.
Because
You probably
like
get a million people asking you.
bazillions, but at the same time, I'm just like, this is you're gaining from my following. And it's not like, oh, what am I gaining from you? But like, truthfully, what am I gaining from you?
But also,
And you
you
don't
built
want-
this. This is your business.
You don't understand.
It's not a
the
facade.
behind the scenes of my husband not necessarily supporting because he had no idea what it was. I wasn't making money at first because no one was. It was bartering at first.
Right.
But this was nothing. And he was just like, get a job, get a job, get a job. And I'm just like, I'm building this. I'm just going along with it. And Baruch Hashem, like I have built it into a legit business where I am, getting paid and recognized for not just, showcasing outfits, but my personality, my thoughts.
But also, that's awesome that you like believed in yourself, like to that. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
think,
you really trusted your gut on that.
I'm not gonna lie. I do think that like I learned to capitalize what I'm good at, and I learned that where I was in when I was in nursing school. I was in nursing school, everyone, for a hot minute.
Oh my gosh.
I was actually just talking to my
Big
sister.
reveal.
I was talking to my sister because she's actually a nurse practitioner. She made it. Me, on the other hand, I took like microbiome twice. So like, don't ever expect me to be in a sandbox because I know what goes on in the sandbox.
Oh yeah.
Or like even
dead.
hot tubs. Anyway.
She's an educated girl.
By the way, that's another thing that I've learned just through the process of this business is that I'm smart. And I never believed in that within me. Like, I was known as like, a pretty cute, like fun girl, which, I am. And I'm not shy about that.
Right.
And that's another thing that like I capitalize on. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, I know I'm cute. I know I can work it and I have good banter and, I can flirt and I can flirt with the tree and I know I can use it for myself. But you know what? I don't think I really ever thought of myself as like a smart, educated person. And you know what? I am.
Yeah.
And I think that's, it's empowered me to even go like further with talking about, more controversial topics.
You know who you are.
Yeah. And
and
I've
everyone
gotten,
appreciates that about you.
I definitely have gotten much more comfortable, but I digress. See, this is what's going to like the problem. We're going to go into so many different things.
Point. That's what we're here for.
But in terms of, just, I was in nursing school and then I hated it. I'm not also like, I happen to love school, but I hate the tests always gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
Me
So like I
too.
never did, I was like, I think a B student, which is fine.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah. B's. But, I remember needing, my dad's like, you need to get a bachelor's degree in something. Like, I can't just like let you do nothing. So
Right.
that's like, we were raised like, you go to college, you get your
your
bachelor's,
degree.
everything else, you pay for. So, I was like, what am I good at? So with education wise, I happen to love writing and I do love history. I'm like a history nerd.
Really.
But the thing is that at that point, I was like so done with school. I was like in school for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Serena, I think, was like 8 months old. And I was like,
So hard.
done. So history happened to have been a much easier major or whatever. I should have done writing.
How old were you when you got married?
I got married. Was I 20 at 20?
Wow.
Had Serena at like just shy of my 23rd birthday. And like, here we are gonna be 16 years later.
Wow.
Hashem. Every year we high five each other and we say we made another year.
I really think anniversaries are an actual simcha because it's work.
Oh
like, do you know what I mean?
God.
Like, it's
they don't
not
teach
just,
you that though.
No, they don't.
And
it doesn't just happen.
Listen, like it's funny because I like would talk to my aunt sometimes where I'm just like, I see mommy and daddy and they were always so like lovey and whatever. And she's like, do you not remember this like door slammings, this or that? I feel like maybe I blocked that out.
Thank God. That's
But
amazing.
no, thank God. But I think what I'm realizing in life is that there are, the big moments and then like little moments. It's what matters are more where we have like a relationship where we're nice and kind to each other. And then there are sometimes like when we could get in fights, not the other way around where it's like you're always fighting and then you have little moments.
love that.
That happened to have been our relationship. Now that we're segueing, there's just
Yeah.
so much to get into. But
We'll get into that.
yeah, that we can touch upon. But anyways, the moral of the story is I realized when I was in school for history, that's when Instagram was coming. And I started just like posting my outfits because I always loved fashion.
I loved your outfits from me. They were so different and cool.
Yeah.
And
I
loved it.
loved fashion since I don't know, my mother, my grandmother we always would like be dressed to the nines. My mother and grandmother are still dressed to the nines. There are times my mom's like literally walking down Central Avenue. I'm like, where are you going? Like she belongs on Madison Avenue.
Did she die when you would like post in your kitchen, like with your messy bun and a sweatshirt?
There were times she still says like, put on some makeup, put on some lipstick, or like, oh, you look so pale, or, you know, but, my mom
Jewish mama.
Yeah, but she's my whole family is very, thank God, very supportive. Even more supportive.
Well, now that's easy to be because you made it, you did it, and they see.
Yes, but I'm also I'm showcasing a lot more of who I am in a way that maybe I wasn't raised, but I think my family and especially like my parents are just. Like my mom even says, she's like, you look and you seem just like happy. And I think that's what makes her happy. And I don't know if she's
Isn't that
seen
what
that.
every mom wants for their kid?
Yeah. But
for
like
them to live their truest, happiest.
So
yeah. And like, it's cool that she's not criticizing.
Yeah.
And she's
That's
not
really special.
judging. If anything, it made me like, be like, oh my, I like you. Cause like, you know,
You
there's like a
appreciate.
fear and like, I don't want to, God forbid, like disrespect anyone. Like we were raised, like the biggest thing was like keep it of aim. Like that's it. Like family, keep it of aim. You respect, you know, your siblings, even your older siblings. But like I just want to be like respectful, but learning to also be true to myself, which is really a new journey for me.
It's so funny. We actually have this as like something we want to talk about because we grew up like more modern, like we're raising our kids in a more yeshivish
How is that for you?
environment.
We have the same thing. Like you're
Like
doing
you're
the same
meaning
thing,
like
but opposite.
you're raising your kids different than you were raised, correct?
So
no,
I'll tell you why. The only thing different is that there weren't like I went to Bisakov. There were really growing up in my day.
Yeah.
There was in the 5 towns is literally was just like there's tag. There was Halb and Hafter, Zehu.
Right.
I think Beno Space Yaakov was just like coming. Hank was in West Hempstead. That was like in Yehupitzville. Sorry. But now West Hempstead is like the cool place. Like what the heck? I literally, high school, I lived in West Hempstead. I had boyfriends there. My friends were there. What's West Hempstead? But meanwhile, I'm married a Queens boy, but that's besides the point. Growing up, we were raised where we wanted or my parents wanted to identify more in like the Frumer Beis Yaakov scene. But like at home, like we had TVs. I was like the biggest One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek.
Oh my God.
You know, whatever fan. And we were like, my mom was always like, yes, like talking to boys are healthy, but like, you don't have to do it in public. Like you could do this
Were
in
you
private.
wearing skirt? Or were you allowed to wear pants?
So I was only allowed to wear pants till I was 10.
Okay.
And then, but I think because it was ingrained in me that like we don't wear pants like past a certain age, I never had that taiva.
No,
like, I
that's
didn't
what your
care.
friends were doing. That was your world.
My friends were doing that, and like it's funny because my parents were very like open home. I think it was just more going along with like the neighborhood, the community, and like at that time, like Halb and Hafter were definitely much. Like considered much more of like modernish and like because it's co-ed and like I had a bunch of friends from both schools and also it's interesting Lawrence where I grew up around the corner from Lawrence Middle School down the block were our best friends who went to Hal around the corner were our best friends who went to Hafter it was also
didn't matter
mixed
where.
my best friend was a year older than me that went to Hafter and so like there like we were always raised to have like an open mind, but
we're associating with this.
like I remember walking to shul with my mother one Shabbos, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear a sheitel when I'm older, and she's like, oh, you bet your boots you are, and like it never occurred to me not to, and now it's just interesting learning because I never learned like. Oh, it's erva. What does that even mean? So is like the way I talk can be erva. Like so many things, and my shades are so much nicer than my hair.
Of course.
In every way. And there are times that Rafi's just like, take it off. And I'm like, no way. Like, this is gorgeous.
She's like, I'm a Chevy girl.
Yeah.
I can't take it off.
I really am. They are the best. I'm a true
Maybe
Chevy
you could
girl.
hook us up,
through
you
and
know?
through.
That was my first wig ever. Was
My
a
first
Chevy.
wig too.
Yeah.
And I have no idea to this day how it stays on because now we have the wig grip. We never had that
That's
before.
so true.
And I have no idea. But
I have
now,
a question for you, Frumee. Do you say bat mitzvah or bas mitzvah?
I say bat mitzvah.
Growing up,
but
you said that?
always, and I still say the kotel, but I still say like, give me a sub.
Like Aleph Bays Bays?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't say bat.
So then, like,
Okay,
if you're
so then you
with my kids, it's hard for
Yes,
me.
we have the opposite
that. I'm like,
It's
so for
hard.
your bas mitzvah, like I kill myself to say that. I can't do
say,
it.
Or I think I like I could do ba or bas, but like
Bas
really
feels
with
so
like tough
unnatural
and
for me.
soft.
I
and
know,
like,
but you're saying
Right, if you're
bees,
doing
like-
homework with your
like
kids.
I'm always like,
That's so
wait,
funny.
is sinas chinam like with the stuff? And
Right, so
I'm like,
this
it's not samach, right?
This is exactly our problem.
we
but
do this
have
I
it
all
don't
the
do like
time.
sinat chinam. No, it's sinas. Okay. By
Shabbat
the way,
shalom.
no Shabbos. But you should just
No, but
know.
we say that too.
I am hardcore Yedios Klelios. I'm not Yedio Klelio. I can rock any Yedios Klelios quiz.
By the way,
because
Beis Yaakov schools are
I'm
amazing.
so jealous.
I just want you to know. I may not know, like, like X plus Y equals whatever, but I know
The
like,
important
my,
stuff.
like Chamisha Chamshi Torah. That's my jam.
I love that
For
you.
me, my daughter came home from school. She was last year in 3rd grade. She's like, "Mommy, like, I just need to remember, like, when's Pesach Sheni? When's the Hebrew date again?" And I was like, "You got this." I was like, "You
That's
can
great,
do
'cause
it."
I'd be like, I don't know. I have
no
No, like
idea.
we know nothing. I mean,
You
I'll
know
speak for myself. I know
nothing.
0.
Really?
Oh my God,
No,
she
yeah.
already surpassed me in her
Yeah.
Judaic studies.
But like,
it's
I
crazy.
find though that Judaic studies, I mean, that's how you build a bias and net bias. Ne'eman. Honestly, I mean, like that's how you build a home. But I do want to talk to you about for a second, just because we were talking about hair covering,
Yes.
of what it's become for me, because it was always me wearing it because my mother wore
Right,
it and my
that's what you
grandmother
do.
wore it, and I've learned to appreciate, just the beauty of it. But recently, I've connected to it in a much more spiritual way, where in like comparison to the boys wearing, let's say, kippahs, like this is my way of remembering, like there's Hashem above me, there's Hashem with me. I'm a Jewish woman. I wear this for my Jewish values and for my home. And so I don't necessarily even associate it with any type of even marital whatever or erva whatever. It really has to do with personally me, with my connection with Hashem. And that doesn't mean that like, oh, so I show my knees. Like, I'm sorry, for me personally, I don't connect with Hashem through my knee being covered.
You don't have to apologize.
But like, people are so
judgmental about
It's
that.
so
I know that you've been getting a
Gross.
lot of like
Hate. Yeah.
over the bathing suit thing.
Let me just tell you something, guys. And this is I even said this.
Can you give listeners like a background of like what happened?
Yes, but I just want to say something
Go
quickly.
for it.
I've always been like this. I've always worn my bathing suits out in public, out on the beach. I just never posted. Why? And why only is for my mother's sake. And that's it. Like, had nothing to do with, oh, I care what you think or that person think. I just care, like, I don't want my mom being embarrassed or thinking anything. Meanwhile, P.S., like, 2 years ago, I was on like a Pesach program, showed myself full blown in a bathing suit. And I even said, I don't mind wearing this bathing suit, but like I won't wear a bikini because like my mom is here. Like out of strict respect. But what's going on is that for those of you who maybe not know the story, I recently went on vacation with my family, and my OOTDs were my bathing suits and cover-ups. And I never really showed me in my bathing suits and cover-ups because they were always like, see-through, fishnet, whatever. And I think I was just like, I don't care. Because who am I covering this for? Who am I not posting this for? And then I thought, like, is it because of my mom? Is it because I don't want you to like say something to me? And then I'm just like, but why do I care what you have to say about me?
Right.
I don't care. Like,
No, this is
how
what
does
you
that
do.
impact my life or
Right.
me going forward? Like, this is me. I think I look great. I think I look cool. I love my cover up. I love my jewelry spiel. Like,
I just don't get why anybody cares. Like, first of all, we're all on a journey.
Yeah.
Like, Jackie and I will look back on our podcast, I'm sure, in years from now and say,
Yeah.
like, I can't believe we said that or did that. Like, everything is a journey.
Yeah, you're
you
growing,
change
you're
all the time.
evolving.
I was on the beach and a girl in a bikini came up to me and said, oh my gosh, you cover your hair. Can you tell me about it? And then said, like, that sounds so nice. I want to cover my hair.
Right.
My answer would only be, that's so beautiful. Of course you should. It wouldn't be like, there's actually a prereq. Like, if you want to cover your hair, you also have to cover your knees. That's not how mitzvahs work. Like,
No, and
if
also,
you
by
want to
the
cover
way,
your hair, amazing.
Newsflash, they're separate mitzvahs.
Right.
Also,
Right.
can I just ask you a question? Are all these people sheitel wearers, collarbone wearers, elbow, all that, are they observing every other daraisa, not daraita, but daraisa mitzvah? No, they're not at all. I mean,
Nobody's
like, let's
perfect,
get
and
real.
everyone should focus on
And
themselves.
yes, so I know that I am a public figure. I get that. I know that. I know. I did ask this on Instagram, like, do I have a responsibility? And I got like great responses. Many people said absolutely not. And many people did say, yeah, you do. Here's the thing. I get it. And I think to an extent I do have a responsibility where I'm not coming on here, showing my tatalas out. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's because I don't want to.
Right.
And you don't have to watch me.
Right.
But you're also not claiming to be Instagram's
And
representative.
I never
But what's the
did.
responsibility?
I
like,
think because-
to not show who you are?
I think that people feel, and again, this goes beyond, because if you have teenagers on Instagram, that's a whole issue in itself.
Okay.
So if you have your youngsters
Yeah. Okay.
following me, or even,
so that's what people are concerned about.
I
The
think
young
they're concerned
girls?
about that, but also maybe being true to who I am. So people, I think, have an issue, which I think I'm realizing it's more their issue.
Oh,
How I'm
100%.
displaying myself right now is making them uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable with themselves.
1000%.
And they're
Yes.
they're having internal conflict where, ooh, I kind of want to wear that, or maybe I do wear that and it's not publicized, and I wish I had the balls or the confidence to do that too. Now, I hear, like you say, everyone's on their journey, but just because I'm at a place where I feel confident enough to be like, I don't care what you have to say.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
genuinely care about my family, my parents, my husband. Like, that's it. And yes, obviously Hashem is in there, but I really, like, my sister told me this and it stays with me. Hashem gave us the world. Hashem gave us the Torah for us. It's not for him. He doesn't need it. It's for us. And it's a gift. We are lucky and able to actually observe it and do all of it for ourselves. And it's not like hara. Like my mom even said, like, aren't you scared you're going to get like punished? And I'm like, you think I'm going to get smitten, Mom? Like, is like a thunderbolt going to
But
come?
by the way, that's the thing. Like, I get nervous
Yes.
that the Beis Yaakov system, because I'm like so not familiar with
Right.
it,
Yeah.
that's how they teach. Like for me, everything is like Hashem loves you so much. Like
Right.
it's such a positive thing. Like
Right.
there was never like, and I do think that some people have that.
hear
Like
you.
if I wear shorter, like
that's how we were
right.
raised.
And I understand if you were raised like that. I understand why you don't love wearing skirts and why
But it's
you
not
can,
even that. I really think that it has to do a lot with, you go hand in hand with the school and the way that you are at your home. And this was a big thing for me when I was choosing schools for my kids. What you see at home, I think, should be the same dynamic, the same type of values that you learn in school.
Yeah, so
now,
great.
no disrespect, but like, coming from a Beis Yaakov and then going to a home where it was a lot more open-minded, it was a little confusing. It was a little inconsistent. When I had my mother wearing short sleeves and I wanted to wear short sleeves and she's like, no, you can't wear it. And I'm like,
so confusing.
I'm like, but what? But you do. And she's
Right.
like, but I'm a mommy. I'm like, so.
right. And then they're like,
And now my
teachers
kids are like,
mommies.
why are you wearing that, Mom? Like, I'm a mom. I'm like, never mind. No, you're right. I shouldn't. And so I always said, like, the way I am at home, that's going to be the consistent, like, thing throughout my kids' life.
Healthy.
Where it's the same school, the same friends. And yes, you have different friends, but like just teaching them the same values that you have at home is the same values that you have in school. And we're actually, my family and I are going through changes. Like we moved to a different community. We're now in a different shul. I had to switch my oldest daughter out of school to a different school, which is, by the way, fantastic and doing so well. You also have to know your kid, each
100%,
each one.
yeah.
Like there is, Chanoch Lanar al Pizarco, like that is like flashing
Right.
always.
Your kids go
always.
to different schools, you're saying?
Yeah, so my kids go to different schools.
Amazing.
Yeah, basically, my kids were all in one school, and then my oldest daughter was having major social issues in the
That's
school.
so hard.
It was awful. It's
Especially as a mom to
Yeah,
know
to
that
go
your
through
kid.
that.
Yeah, that's so hard.
yeah. It's
Wait, how old is she? You don't
she'll be 13 in a week.
Okay.
We switched her in 5th grade, but like it was pretty terrible. Like also as a mom needing just to compose yourself. Like, and I'm working on this because she goes to therapy, which I'm all for, children therapy.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I was speaking to a therapist, and she's like, "For me, you need to control yourself, like your facial expressions, your outbursts, because there are so many times that she comes over and like comes to me and tells me that this girl, this or that, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill them, or like that little whatever, and she's like, wait, why do you hate my friends? And I'm like, no, never. No, they're probably going through something.
Right.
You know?
That
like,
was my mom, by the way.
well, my mom
also.
too. But my mom
Right.
was fierce. That's where I get it from, though. Like, my mom was fierce. Oh, and that's
Right.
also like parenting, learning about, like, none of this is about you. It's all about them,
Right.
which is very hard.
Yeah, and
you
it's also
know?
hard to watch them struggle, and it's hard to watch them go through hard times and not get involved.
And,
like,
so
yeah.
that's my biggest thing, is not getting it, like watching them struggle, but knowing that if they learn themselves
Yes.
how to get
That'll
through
make
it,
them
that's like
stronger.
the best like coping mechanism, learning experience.
Yeah.
I actually, another story, literally just had actually this past Friday, like my middle one, my Ava, who's like, I find, by the way, the middle ones, I'm not, well, they are known as middle child, but like they're the ones to really look out for, because like
You tell us.
she has like such extreme anxiety that I never really had to worry about her, because she was always like chill, cool. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
She's definitely going through a lot of like anxiety, and she has like all these thoughts and fears, and I totally get them, because I do. Like, we're going over a bridge, but what if we fall over? I'm like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And she's like, what if they snap like the bridge? And
No,
I'm
I think that every
bridges are so
day.
scary.
always,
I think that
always.
literally every day.
Parenting is like really hard.
No, it's
Yeah, and
so
the
hard.
anxiety with kids these days, it's not just your girls. It's like
We tell my mom all the
crazy.
time, me and my sisters tell my mom, like, you would never be able to raise children in this generation, like,
It's
ever.
so
never.
different.
Yeah.
It's so
Never.
different.
And like I always ask my dad, I'm like, Daddy, like, was the world this crazy? Like, there was Vietnam. Was it crazy then?
Right,
like,
right.
you know, Reagan's presidency, there were, like, everything. And
she's a history girl.
but listen, like every part, I'm sure it was crazy for them at that point, but like
I don't think anything could be crazier.
I don't
than
think
what
there's
we
anything
have.
crazier,
Yeah.
especially with social media.
social media
like,
of it all.
Listen, like it's good. It's like a necessary evil.
Is your
or
daughter
is it necessary?
is she on social media?
So my kids don't have Instagram. So Serena, my oldest,
Yeah.
has a phone. She was. I did the worst thing and let her have TikTok like back in the day.
Yeah.
Because like all her friends were having it.
If
Without
we
you.
had that in high
It's-
school or seminary or
the
whatever,
worst.
Forget it.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Forget
Like,
it.
there
I
goes
don't
me.
know how we'd survive.
No.
But then, like, thank God the schools are cracking down like
Yes,
crazy
I
on it.
noticed that.
But
How?
because they're making a
making
rule, you
rules.
cannot have it on your phone, and like
How do they know?
because you have to have like the parent. It's like an agreement between the parents and the school. Like
Yeah.
you have to be on board with us.
Yeah, and I think it's important.
And I think, and most of the parents are on board with that. And so it's like Serena comes home and she's like, everyone still has TikTok. And then like a day later, okay, no one has TikTok. So now I don't feel the need to
Right,
have it.
right.
I literally
So-
picked my daughter's school based on like, I looked at what an 8th grader looked like. I was picking
That's
two
cool.
different schools.
Okay.
And that was like a main thing for me, like TikTok, like these one school, that was like the norm, and
Yeah.
the other school, like they all didn't have that. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's like a strong value.
I
of
just
mine.
want to let you know, though, something about maybe the more modern schools. First of all, my sister-in-law is a graduate of Hafter High School, and her midos are so stellar. Like, she also has such a
from the home
It is. It's there. Listen,
and the school. Hafter's great. I love Hafter.
Why do you throw an Hafter in there?
Hafter's
No,
amazing.
but I want you to know
Midos
something.
don't have to do
there's,
it.
There's
You
so
can be
many
Yaakov and have the worst
factors.
midos.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
There are so many
That's my point.
factors.
That's
There
what
are
I
your
said.
friends. There's your home. There's
Yeah.
the school. There's your environment. There's your neighborhood. There's so much. I went to TAG. I went to SK. I did not get into TAG High School because my mom wore red nail polish.
Oh my gosh.
See,
like, no, I'm gonna.
okay, but whatever, and like again,
I
like
can with that. That's
Hashem,
so hard for me.
but like I really feel like Hashem literally is the guiding light. Like I didn't get into there, and also I didn't get into Rina Spis Yaakov. And
We don't know what that is.
because they closed down. Because
Where did
didn't
you go?
accept you.
I went to ask Kay.
No, for some.
Sharfman's. I was told though.
Oh, yeah, you're so
I was
Sharfman's.
told that I wouldn't be able to get into Mechala because I was not a good davener. Who told me that? One of my principals in high school.
That's a terrible thing to say.
It was because do you think I'm a good davener now? No.
That doesn't like.
But not even that. It was the dumbest thing ever. See, like also
not
these
right.
like
That's not
administrative
right. Yeah,
people,
yeah.
they think like
I know.
seichel,
Yeah.
buddy.
But I just want to say, I'm like impressed because you grew up in this world where like the norm is just like we do this, not like we do this because X,
No,
Y, Z.
that's why.
So
I
I
don't
think
know.
the fact with that you like took the time to look into hair covering and
Yes.
feel connected to it shows a lot about you.
Even like
Yes.
davening, like, you know, I used to always feel guilty, and I would even speak to like my seminary teacher about it. I'm like, I just don't connect when I'm reading the words,
Yeah.
even in English. And she was just like, you daven the way that you connect. And there would be times that I'm in the car and I'm literally just talking to myself, but really talking to Hashem.
Bracha does all the time.
Or like like a big mitzvah that I connect to is, and I think a lot of women do, but like I call it benchlicht, like lighting
Yes,
candles.
I call it benching lift also.
Do you?
So lighting candles and the tefillah with that I connect to.
Yeah.
I connect mainly with Judaism through my children.
Right.
If I have no idea where I'd be if I didn't have kids. Because first of all, besides the fact that they actually force you
Right.
in a way to like, if you're sending
Show
to
up,
yeshivas and you're putting them through that type of system where you have no choice but to be a certain way, I connect where it's like, how do I want my daughter to emulate me? How do I want my daughter to view me? So it's like Serena or my kids, like if they're wearing, let's say, jeans, I don't care because I'm looking at that being like, they're self-expressing. They're choosing what they want to do or what they want to wear. They're not asking me. They feel confident in their bodies. And that to me is more important than anything. My point is that like the jeans, like there's a way to look fine or balabatish even when wearing jeans. You don't have to look, can I say slutty?
Yeah.
But you don't have to look slutty wearing
Yeah,
jeans.
you can be
or
modest.
you don't have to like look slutty wearing like a low cut thing. Like
Right.
obviously you don't want your tatalas, your
Right.
Like Jackie was saying, her sister's like dresses modestly. Is it like with
Like she doesn't cover her elbows or
so that's
knees,
so
but
funny
like
because
she wears pants.
I think that's like a good way of saying that, and because I think what got people upset with the whole bathing suit situation is because like I'm still sneeze. Now maybe I shouldn't have worded it that way, but I still find myself a modest person. I still think that I dress in a fine manner, and like.
you're not saying
I'm not-
that you're doing what is halachically.
No.
You're saying this
And-
is what feels
right to me
Exactly.
or the way that I connect on my level. Now, am I striving to connect in greater ways? Yes, but that may not be like that I'm really looking to cover my elbow. It's just, it's not there for me. Does that make you frummer than me? No. It really doesn't.
I don't think the girl speaking Lashon Hara to her friend at the Shabbos table about Frumee's bathing suit is in a better place than you
So
in your
like,
bathing suit.
I'm gonna say this straight, but like, I was called by my current school that my children are in now, not after, because they were getting calls about me.
what?
And I said,
That's
Horrible.
insane for
and I'm
me.
like, but like,
What does that have to do?
I got women to go to the mikvah. Like,
Literally,
can we
I was
focus on
telling Becca
that
about that.
maybe?
Yes.
And I'm just like, what about the Lashon Hara that you are receiving? Can
Yeah.
we talk about
yes,
that?
exactly.
Everything's so backwards.
What kind of
guys.
Shabbos table are they having? That's what they're having. That they're gossiping about.
I
your
think
bathing
people
suit?
are-
It's
right.
Why are you
disgusting.
on the? Why are you following me? Like,
Yeah.
why are you
Okay,
looking?
when Jackie and I started this podcast, everyone's like, "You're not like nervous. Like, put yourself out there."
Right.
I think like because Jackie and I are so not the type of people, and I've spoken about this on the podcast before, like we would never just like yenta about an influencer, yenta about other people. Like I don't care. Like I am focused on myself. Like I don't
Right.
care. Like am I saying I
Yeah.
never speak Lashon Hara? Obviously not. Like
Right.
I'm a person.
No, but like,
But I would never, because I would never just like sit at a Shabbos table and talk about
Right.
Frumee or whoever it is.
Right.
When we started the podcast, I didn't think like, oh,
Other
wait,
people
I'm
would
putting
be
myself
doing
out there
that.
that people are going to do that about me. It wasn't on my radar.
you wouldn't think like that because you actually think people are.
But it's just
But
like,
I also think that if people are like solid in their own beliefs
Yeah,
and
so
journey, then
that's
they
the
don't.
thing.
They're not impacted by what other people are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I have no
call,
problem. Like
to
you
call
do
the
you.
school
Like
and complain is so hurt for the Jewish women that like we are going through such a dark time where we need to be
That's
united.
what I also said. I'm like, there
you're
are bigger
calling-
problems. Like, I don't know, hostages.
Yeah,
like,
right.
This is, and then I think what was the tipping point was vacation, which I didn't even show my full bathing suit. Like I showed me in my cover up. If anything, by the way, this did not turn me off. If anything, it turned me on so much more to wanna be more connected in my Yiddishkeit, but in
an authentic
way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to teach my children, and that's, by the way, just going back to my mother, when she first found out about my daughter going to Haftar, she was like, oh my God, Haftar. And now,
What's your name?
Alchi,
Alchi, look at me.
you should just know.
We're okay. Don't worry.
You should just know, my mom sees, though, like, and I even saw, Haftar is so Tamimistic. It's not
See, I know
like,
it's Haftar.
no, they're Tamimistic, they're inclusive, they're warm.
Yes.
They have such a, there is this Yiddish, I can't explain, like, feeling, like, even my sister, who's extremely yeshiva, she actually sends her son now to after he needed. They're so
for her.
welcoming
Accommodating, yeah.
and accommodating.
Yeah, they need
And-
us. The schools more to the right.
I'm
Need to step up
sorry,
their game in
they're-
terms of kids that are outside of the box.
Outside the box, who need extra help, who
Oh
need
yeah,
a little bit
1000%.
more
Yes.
rambunctious, more ADHD, more
Yeah.
all those things, and like
Or
step
what do
it
they
up.
call it?
Oh, the yeshivish term from it is
Heimish?
No,
no,
I'm Heimish.
Labadeh.
Labadeh.
That means Labor Day, but Labor Day for us was when you would hook up with boys.
Oh my gosh. See, like, we know nothing. That's hilarious.
No, they were describing these boys as Labadeh. I was like, are they having kumsitz in first grade? Like, what are you saying? And they're like, no, that
they're
means
just having
ADHD.
I know they are.
Okay.
You know, like, and it's interesting that you say that because it's just like what we were back in the day of like even ADHD or getting up from pictures. Like my grandmother's friend said, we would just go to the back. Like there was no such thing as ICT classes or collaborative classes, or there's so much more help now, but
Yeah.
there needs to be, I'm sorry, in the more right of schools to be more accommodating to that.
You need to pick it up.
No, it's just Danielle. She knows where I am.
Oh, okay.
Danielle's my best friend, guys.
Who's Danielle?
And was I supposed to cancel or 1,200? Oh no, it's Danielle. Oh my God, my other friends are gonna be so mad. But Danielle Levitz, hi Danielle, is my best friend since second grade.
Hi, Danielle.
We went to tag. Then she got into Renas. I didn't.
I'm dead.
She then went to tag. I went to SKA. And she went to Mechala. I didn't. And I went to Sharpens.
And you stuck it through.
She has 4 boys. I have 4 girls. And she is my sister from another mister. So cute. I always say I have 6 sisters. I happen to be very close with my sister, my brother's wife. So I also call her my sister.
She's your sister. I love that.
Yeah. So we're very close. So I was about to say I have 6. No, because I'm one of 4
Wait,
girls.
is he the only boy?
Yes.
So
He is Mashiach.
you need to take care of your sister-in-law because like you have sisters. So like it
Right.
can't be
Just
like
Rahava.
this.
No, so my mother actually, she was very good like that also. My parents raised us that like, we're like, you only have each other, and this is how I also raise my kids, and actually you should like have a really nice story. But like my sisters are like the loves of my life, and they're my everything, and they're like my best friends. Yeah. Furthermore, so I have them, I have 3 sisters, and I have a brother. My brother, who I also love, but like I don't really speak to, but like my sister-in-law is like my connection. So
Right.
she like we're very close, and then like there's Danielle's like my sister, like, and she, by the way, is also only has 3 brothers, so like we're very close. She has other friends that we don't talk about, but I'm like that meme where it's just like I feel so bad for you when you're not hanging out with me. Also, Danielle's
But
very
she
good
has
where
to-
she like puts me in my place, and she could sometimes be a little harsh, but
So
like, I
she's
need
someone that you trust, that you can ask
more-
about your
Yeah.
post or whatever.
Yeah,
need
yeah.
someone
And when
like
she
that.
tells me like I'm psychotic, like she's just like, you're being insane. I'm like, you're right, I am.
Yeah.
But in any event, my parents raised us that we should be, because people ask me a lot of times, like, how are you so close with your family? And Blia and Harpoo, there's really no jealousy, which I really do think is like one of the major accomplishments of my parents.
Wow.
Because like we like even though my younger sister, like we joke, like she really is my mom's favorite, but like we don't care because,
Right.
you know, she just turned 30. I'm like, that's when I realized certain things about mommy. Yeah, maybe you will, but no. But the thing is that we all just have such a love, and maybe we connect through our trauma of child. I don't know, but we just
works.
adore each other, and we're all very different too. Like I have a pretty yeshivish sister, but like she's normal, but she's funny. I can't explain. Like my niece's Vart, she's like, so do the twins? She has twin 16-year-olds. She's like, so the twins, do they have to go? And I'm like, are you insane? Like it's their cousin. Where she would like, you know, sometimes like tell me like, and we love each other. But that's how I instill with my kids. We actually, Ava was a little chutzpahdik this Shabbos.
Ava.
And Rafi is a little bit stronger handed than I am. And he like punished her, like put her in her room, and Charlotte was crying hysterically. She's like, but I want Ava, I want Ava.
So
like,
cute.
but I love that. Like, and
there's
they're like,
nothing
you're
like
so mean to
sisters.
Serena. And I'm like, good. You guys can all hate me. Just
Yes.
love each other.
Yes.
And my mom always said that. So
I love
she
that.
says to me though, she's like, when I die after 120, what are you gonna complain about? We're like, well,
so
that's a
something
long
my
way
mom would
away,
say.
Ma. So I wanted to say, in terms of just back to me becoming more comfortable posting me. So
Yeah.
like I said, like it was always me. I always, let's say, wore things like this or spoke about certain things or whatever. I just may have not been as showy about it. And I think I'm just realizing, I think I'm getting a lot more confident and comfortable within myself that I'm realizing also that like life is short, and like who am I living for? Because if I'm going to be constantly worrying about what you're going to think, then like that's what I've been doing for 35 years, and like I'm over it, you know? Because I thank God in a place where I'm happy in my home. I'm happy with my husband. Everything really goes back, honestly, which we could segue in. It really goes back to the marriage and just the home and literally the bias Naman, because I realized that I was so not okay for so long because my marriage wasn't good, and therefore it affected everything.
Right. Let's get into that, Bracha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on your 35th birthday,
Yeah.
you had an Instagram post
Yeah.
where you were basically reflecting and saying that on your 30th birthday, your marriage was in shambles and there was a lot of anger, grief, and life as you knew it was over.
Yeah.
What was that like? First of all, showing up every day on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I know you're like me, where like you wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Where you probably want to like share with everyone, like, hey guys, like this is actually what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. And also my other question is, I know that you said your husband's a private person. Like,
Very.
what made you share that to the world?
You know, I think looking back, and like, listen, I mean, I'm in such a different place, but you know, obviously marriage isn't perfect, and just realizing that you have to work at it. But I think I was in legit survival mode the last 5 years, not realizing until realizing. And I think I was just on autopilot and going through the motions, but literally like suffering and going through so much. You know, I think when growing up, everything is just like go to school, go to seminary, come home, get married, have babies, and so forth.
Yeah.
Not realizing or not knowing really like what that actually entails. And not also like knowing what you actually want.
And
You
also
know,
you were so young.
I was so young, and Rafi and I would have these conversations where he'd be like, I wasn't even ready to get married, but you basically were telling me, and it's true. I
her
literally
mom.
came home and I said, schnitzel or get off the pot.
Right.
Like, why? Because that's what I was told by my parents. I think this all goes together where I'm becoming more comfortable in my own identity and going away from what, let's say, my identity was as the daughter of my parents or as
The image you were
the image I was portraying, or just what you would see in public, because I honestly had no idea who the heck I was.
Right.
At the same time, how do you know? I mean, I feel like there are people who have very strong sense of self. Right. And like, I know who I am, like in terms of my personalities, and I know my good qualities, bad qualities. Like, I'm a very self-aware person, but like at my core, I was just always like, well, whatever my mother says. It's like, well, if mommy likes this, then I like it. Or if mommy says to do this, go do this. And there was never an issue for me, because that's just it was ingrained. And like, if I ever had a different type of thought, it would be like, but I can't, because like, or.
Is your husband like that though? Like,
No.
is it so? Is he
Not at
annoyed?
all.
Like, for me, have your own brain. It doesn't matter what your mom.
Yes,
like he
that-
doesn't get it. Like you don't. What do you mean?
That
Like
was
you don't
such
get
a-
that my mom is my world.
It was
And
a
he's
big
like,
point of contention. Now, my
Right.
parents were very good, though, that it's like your husband comes first. But to me, I never understood that, because it was still like, but my parents come first.
This
it was
is
like,
so relatable to
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
girls who are close to their moms.
Yeah.
Where like the husbands don't like. Of course, I need to ask my parents.
I like the first year of marriage for sure. It's like,
Oh my gosh,
but
the
like,
hardest year.
especially
I
then. But
have to go to my parents for Shabbos. But what does that mean? Even now, there are times when I'm like, wait, do I serve my husband first, or do I serve my dad first? Like, and my dad's very good. Give your husband first. I'm like, my parents are very good in that way. And my mom, my mom is not an overbearing mother-in-law, or like, she's a very good mother-in-law to my sister-in-law. Happens to be, I see it, but she,
We'll ask her.
yeah. But they are very good. Like, you know, you have your own life, but you're still so immersed in that life of parents, family, where it's still, what is that separation? And so when we first got married, it was hard, because I think he was resentful, just because he also grew up in a family where like career, which is great, but like you have to have your own money, you have to, and like not in this.
Frumee likes her shoes, you know.
Not in this community where it's like no one was supporting us. Like we didn't like we lived comfortably, and like our parents helped in the beginning,
Right.
but like it was really on him, and I think that pressure like took over us, and then me being very much listen, like I take blame, or I own that, like I am a bull buster, and I want what I want, and I could be super tenacious for good or for bad.
Right.
And so I could be like, but I want to do this. And he, for the sake of peace, would just give in. But I think that he held in so much.
Right.
And then it came to a point, I think, where he was just like, I am so done with this. And then I was like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, there was no communication. And I think that's an issue on both of us. Like, he didn't communicate, I didn't communicate, or maybe I communicated, but not in the right way. Like, I could be a little bit aggressive, and I could also, I could be a little biting with words. So I think my pain, or that I was experiencing, or my confusion would just come off as being a big BI. And like, he didn't like that, obviously.
Did you guys date in high school?
We were on and off in high school.
I just saw this study that like high school relationships have a harder time maturing and like
my God.
communicating, because you knew them at such a young age.
We had such red flags for both of us.
Wow.
Like I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, there were flashing lights for him too. But you know what? I liked him because he was older and he had a car and he liked me. Like whatever.
Right.
I was in 11th grade. He was already in college, and
Right.
you know, and
That's
and then
crazy.
I know. Well, he also skipped a grade because he's stupid smart. But
Wonderful.
yeah.
Do you think
It's one
that
of those.
also the community that you live in, where you're like, of course I have to have, like, there's keeping up with the Jones.
Of course.
So,
Oh
of course,
my God.
Rafi, I
So
need.
that's
Everyone
also-
else has it. Like,
you
that's
know,
a standard.
It's funny because it's not that I make fun, but I say like, he grew up in Queens, but his best friends were all from the 5 towns. He used to like come here every Shabbos. I said, and yet he has such a like distaste or whatever for the 5 towns mentality. I'm like,
And then he
I
married
said,
Fromy.
you married the 5 towns.
Literally.
Like this was some subconscious trauma schnitzel that you
Yeah.
literally went through, that you married
and
someone.
also, he knew. Like, you're gonna be like, of
So
course,
we
I'm
also,
expecting these things.
I always
you married
say,
me.
like, you knew this about me. You knew this about me.
Right.
But I think that, again, like with the maturing, it's like, you know, you get married and then boom, it's like, wait, I have this bill, that bill. Boom, I want to have a baby. Wait, what? Like, we're babies. And
Yeah.
boom, doesn't happen so easily. Boom, social friends, like all that. And like,
a lot of
you know,
stressors.
every little thing just piles up. And we were never in sync, ever, literally. And I swear to you, last year was like the first time that I felt we were like actually aligned.
How did you get to that point?
It's like very emotional.
Yeah, of course. I told Jackie to bring tissues.
I think at 30, so at 30, it was that post. At 30, it was just basically, he just was like totally not interested. And like he like removed himself in every way except for like a physical way. It was such a confusing time because I'm just like, you're emotionally not there, you're mentally not there, you're spiritually not there. Like there were so many things, and he was going through his personal journey that I was just like, what the hell is going on with you?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't like communicate. And it was me literally like I was drowning. Because I didn't know where to go, what to do. My family was very supportive. They were very helpful. But we were also in the throes of like little babies. And we did go to therapy, but it's just,
Do you go to marriage therapy?
we went to marriage therapy. There were times that I thought to myself, I don't think that our relationship is normal. Like we're not supposed to fight all the time. We're not supposed to like bicker all the time, right? But
And it was
like,
mainly about like things that you wanted that he was just like, Frumee, enough.
It was about like us as people. There was so much going on with him that I didn't know, that he I don't even think knew.
Right.
And I think that also, listen, I'm a larger than life personality. I am the opposite of him.
Yeah.
Where now I learn more from him, and we never like respected each other. I mean, you don't respect me. And I'm like, I would always be like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, what am I supposed to respect? Where now I know exactly what it means for me now is like, I respect him where I don't make decisions now without really consulting him, or I don't let the kids do things that I be like, if daddy says it's okay, then it's okay with me.
Right.
Or like, even like with business stuff, like I used to resent, and now he's like an actual workaholic, but like I would resent it to the point where it took over our life.
Yeah.
And that was another point of contention.
Do you have a lot of help at home? Like that's a lot.
Because otherwise you're like a single parent.
So technically, I've been a single parent our entire
Wow.
Right.
marriage. I must say the help of my family, like living near family, really
It's huge, I
does.
know.
Like for a minute, I did want to move to Florida because like I do have legit seasonal depression, and I felt also maybe a slower lifestyle pace would be good for us, for my kids, for me. And Rafi said like he'd have to like go back and forth with work. And then I'm like, I'm going to be there alone. And I even like texted my siblings on the sibling chat, who's moving with me? Right. One of my siblings said maybe. And then I'm like, what am I going for? Like, they're my people. So this is another segment, but this is where when I found my like core group of friends. Friendships is another thing we can talk about, but I really relied heavily on a group of girls who helped me just feel good about me. But like,
I have a question for you. Was Rafi like supportive and proud and expressing that to you about your Instagram and your growth?
Never.
So like that's also hard where you're like, look what I'm doing. It's huge.
Never.
And it's like your whole day is on your phone and like doing these.
He would, if anything, he resented it. If anything, he'd just be like, this is stupid, or like, what are you even doing? Or you're obsessed, or you're obsessed with yourself. And I'm just like, like I'm putting myself out there for the world to like come at me.
And look what
then
I'm
you're
doing
getting
right
that
now.
And there were times that I would get nasty, but be like, I'm like, you'd never be able to do what I do. But just like now, I never be able to do what he does.
Right.
And I don't want to. But I have an appreciation now. There's like
There's a mutual respect. There's appreciation.
I want to say something to Rafi if he's listening to this.
I hope he doesn't, because he's going to kill me.
No, Rafi, I just want you to know that, like, for me being so vulnerable right now and sharing is going to help. No, for real. So many couples.
Literally.
Like, well, I really think.
I hope so. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, we both stuck it out. Now, why we both stuck it out, I think there was a lot of driving forces, like the stigma of divorce, for sure. Me, I was scared about money. I was terrified. No, but like really, I was just like,
how are you
how
gonna
the
do
heck
that?
am I going to afford my lifestyle?
Yeah.
I was scared a little bit of like, will I ever get married again? I think, listen, like now looking back, I do see he was struggling so much as an individual. I didn't see it.
And men have a hard time expressing
and he didn't
that.
express it. So like, I was so immersed in my own feelings that like and don't get me wrong, there were times that I'd just be like, what's going on with you? Or like, what's wrong? And he was completely shut down from the years of just, I think, him feeling so like mute or meek. And and there would be times that I'd be like, speak up.
And
like,
this is where your friends save you, because they come
is where
in and they give you everything that like you
yeah,
weren't
like I
given.
literally relied on them. Now listen, like there were coping mechanisms that I were also maybe not the best. Like I'd go out all the time as an escape.
Yeah.
You know, I was like never home. I'd always have like babysitters coming. Thank God my kids were young enough. However, it does go to show, because I really do believe that the energy of the house and just obviously everyone says your kids see everything, but there is a reason why my kids are super duper anxious, not just from the outside world, but like I was a mess.
Right.
I was
So
also,
how do you get on Instagram and like
I think-
just talk
I'll be
talk
honest
about
with
your
you,
outfit? Like
I think that was like my escape. I
Right.
think that was a distraction. I think
Right.
that was mind numbing. It really was. I was able to
and
just
you were getting the validation and attention and
it was a
messages.
total dissociation of what actually was going on in my life.
Right.
Like people would not even know
Right.
the turmoil
Right.
of
Right.
going through and like I would speak to my therapist. I'm like the struggle that I had where I'm like, I have so much life still, please God, to live, and I want to live it.
Right.
And yet, like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, what am I sacrificing? What am I?
Right. I'm stuck.
I felt
and
literally.
this just shows you like the classic thing that everyone says, that like Instagram is a highlight reel and you never know like what someone is going through.
think-
And you keep it real.
I think-
and
exactly.
Still, there's
So
so
I
much
think
more
I give
still.
a little bit more realness to
Yeah.
people.
More than
like
a little. That's why everybody loves you.
That post for sure. Even
Oh
like
my gosh.
I wanted. It's just also like ridiculous. Like it just goes to show how like my third was I had at 29, and I knew I always wanted to have like a big family, but like he was just like absolutely like nah. And then especially us going through this, I still wanted a baby, but for the wrong reasons. Obviously, it was
Right.
just because like
You wanted
I
a big
want
family,
more, and
right.
like I'm getting older, and I don't want such a big age gap. Like it's so, and like, but like guys, Hashem is like the coolest thing ever, because he really like. Listen, I went through hell, but like, and everyone goes through their own personal hells, but like, I don't know if I'd be who I am. And like, it sounds so cliche, but like, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, so
Focus
that,
on
Yeah, that's what I want to know for women who are listening who could relate to
what I
this.
could say is I came to a breaking point where I had to decide if I wanted to like really give
Work.
this my all and
Yeah.
really work at this, or like, am I starting a brand whole new life as like a single
I
parent?
feel like on Facebook, like there's always like messages about like, how do you know when to get divorced and
Right.
stuff? And people are always
It's like
saying,
anonymous
What-
messages.
yeah, and they're like, when you know that you did everything,
little
like you don't want to
thing.
look back because
Yeah.
it's so hard, and then you're like, well, we didn't.
I also think that it's important to recognize how the environment for your kids, because a lot of people do stay
Right.
or fight because of the kids, and there could be like a switch where the toxicity of you staying together is so much more harmful.
Right.
Of course.
And there was a point that I did feel like this is not okay for my kids. Like
Right.
there was such animosity where
And
we
they pick
couldn't,
up
like,
on
of
that.
course, I was through the roof, like just anxious and angry and miserable, like so miserable. And I couldn't do it anymore. And like I would take it out on the kids. And this is where like my meds came in, because like
I was about to ask you, like we talk a lot about meds. Like I'm like an Adderall girly. She's a Lexapro.
I'm Lexapro.
Lexapro.
Does it not change your whole life?
I mean,
My whole life.
literally yesterday. So I'm not as on top of my refills as I should be. And I sort of like went cold turkey for like 4 days. I was insane yesterday. I'm driving literally over the GW, and I'm like texting my sisters, and I'm just like, one of you need to go and pick up my refill. The other one needs to bring some sort of Xanax. I'm like, guys, like
You
know,
need
like-
delivery.
But it
to
was
your house.
also like, it's sad because I see how much I need it. And like,
It's not sad. That's why Hashem made it. It's amazing.
I know, but like, I'm sad that like I can't I need something. I felt like I was gonna cry. Like it's funny because I told my husband, I'm like, I haven't cried in a while, but like I had the tears, and I'm very open with my kids about it because it happens to me. Ava saw my text like to my sister being like, I'm not okay. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just need my like anxiety medicine. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, no, it's all good. It's all good. It just, I'm a little.
Do you think
nervous.
they feel a shift in the house and stuff? Like, do they express that?
1,000%. They even are just. I like it when my oldest is like, ew, and like me and Rafi are like hugging even. Because she's like uncomfortable because she's never seen it.
Yeah.
And where I tell my parents all the time, like they ruined like love for us because they are a yotzei min haklal. They like legit, like they love each other. Like they're married. Aliza is 43. I think they're married like 47 years.
Wow.
So special.
And hold hands, and like my dad only wants to be with my mother. And my mom, even though she says that she needs her space, she doesn't. She needs my dad to like suffocate her. Right. And I just remember also beginning of marriage being like, why aren't you like my dad? Like why aren't you all over me? Or like, why don't you need me? I remember the second week being in our apartment, me crying in the bathroom, being like, I want to go home. Like, I don't, like, this is not my home.
He doesn't like me.
I still ask him, do you like me? But you know what? Thank God.
So what's your advice for someone who's listening and who's like, Frumee, this is my story. Like, I'm not an influencer, but like, I am going through this. What do you say?
I think you need to have a real conversation with your spouse and be like, what are we doing here? Right. Do we want to make this work? And if we do, like, we need to go to therapy. Like, there were things in order for it to act, because like there was this quote that I saw, I think it was Thomas Lu, that says, nothing changes if nothing changes. Right. And so like, things needed to change. So I think that if you are going through something like this, first of all, you're not alone, because you really are not alone. Like, I think majority of people do go through this. I think that a lot of people may not go to the extreme, but like
everyone has their thing.
Everyone,
if it's
like,
not,
if
it's something
marriage
else.
is just not easy.
No,
it's
you're also
not.
growing. You're evolving into different
changes.
people as individuals and as a couple. And like, listen, there were things we both had to sacrifice and also concede to. Like, you know, he may not be as, let's say, connected to Yiddishkeit than and I am, but we both get each other where, you know, I'm understanding about certain things. He's understanding about certain things. You know, we both have an understanding of how we want to raise our kids. Yeah. We've learned, oh my God, the biggest thing is like, we talk so much nicer to each other. Like I really,
there's more respect.
There is. And there's also like, there's real, like, I think I was always insecure about my feelings, like that he had for me, because he would not be the nicest or not be the most expressive of just saying like, I'm proud of you. Where now, you know, there's a lot more. And also another thing that I do want to tell people is keep dating. It's so important.
I love that advice.
You know, like go out on dates, but also like watch movies. We just like started watching Gladiator together. Like, even though we haven't seen each other in months, cause thank God, baby. But like, you know, it's just I get dressed up, like, even though he's just like, I haven't seen you out of sweats in months.
Right. Especially when you like get dressed, like he's like, maybe he'll think you get dressed for everyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
he knows like what I was doing today, but like, you know, like get dressed, or, you know, I don't know, like ask him like, oh, do you want, like, can I get you something? Just like, like
she got him juice.
I did get him juice, and he appreciates it. There's just, I think there was
Perks,
an
Rafi.
moment where you realize what's at stake, and you realize that, like, you know, what is life actually about? And he also, like, he got so much better with work, which meant the most to me, because like I really felt like I'm like, you are having an affair with me against your work, like like you are committed.
That was probably his escape too.
Yes, for sure. And also like
what does he do?
He's in investment banking, so he's in literally the outside world of, you know, the bank world, the corporate world,
right.
Not, as he says, our bubble. Which, by the way, I happen to like our bubble. There's like actually a pro to being in a bubble. Like, so like sometimes when you're in that corporate environment, or if you're in the outside world, you're like, ew. Like, you know, it's just like this. We're so nice, but like, he's definitely gotten, like, he used to, like, he would work 24/7 or 24/6. He's then got home on Sundays now. He may be working-ish here and there, but he's more involved with the kids. Because that's why I said, you don't even know your kids. You don't know
And that
us.
probably makes it easier for you to like put the phone away and be more
100%.
present
It's
too.
just, and it's just, family is everything.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, that's what, you live for, you die for, it's all for. So
Also sounds like now you're focusing on building your own family.
yeah, we're
like,
actually
your
like
own unit.
It's
and
true.
Your own...
So now that like we are like aligned, and as I said, like I said it in some sort of post, but like the nucleus. Once the nucleus is healthy, everything else is healthy.
Right. You're working together.
We're on the same page and pretty much everything. And it's like, holy cow. I'm like, oh, so this is what it's supposed to be like.
Right.
And okay, it took us only 15 and a half years and, go through hell. But like, hopefully, please Hashem, that's our hell. Right. And I'm sure we still have obviously challenges. Yeah. And even like yesterday, he was like annoying me. And I'm just like, this is okay. Because I'm also like an extreme person where I had to learn also there could be highs, like there doesn't have to be such extreme highs and extreme lows. Like it's all about just like
medication really helps with that, right? Identifying like what's an actual problem and what's like
so
not
that's
a
what
big
I also
deal.
like. No, but you should just know it really did change my life in that way, where it's just like not everything is like doom or gloom, and not everything it's like, oh, that's it, we're getting divorced, or oh, that's it, I'm leaving, or oh, that's it, like I don't know. It's just like oh, okay, so like this is uncomfortable, like let's discuss like what's the problem. And like I'm very good with like my words, so a lot of times I communicate just by like texting out my feelings. And then like he'd be like,
figure out
I
what
had
works
no
for you.
idea.
Right.
I'm like, well, now you know.
That's so good. I always tell Bracha, I'm like, I used to not be able to get through a Sunday without crying because it was just like everything that happened was just so overwhelming for me.
Even my sister, whose husband is always around, her husband went to Israel for like a week or 4 or 5 days, and she's like, I don't know how you did
No,
this.
I
Right.
literally
No, I
and I'm
think
like-
about this. I'm like,
like, this became my life.
You're a rock star.
Yeah,
No,
and Rafi
seriously.
still travels a lot, but I tell this, I'm a big advocate of help, not just like from friends or family, but like live in help if you can, or at least get a steady babysitter, or at least some sort of something. Like, listen, my baby's at home right now with my housekeeper because like, and I'm able to do this, you know? So
So we have a lot of questions that you just reminded me.
Yeah,
of.
those
tell
like
me.
fun
Okay,
little ones.
do
We wanted
you-
to know if you had a Finsta.
Do you have a Finsta that like, let's say you
fake
want to
Instagram.
Oh my
want to
God.
look at someone's stuff, but you don't want them to see like from
no, guys, that takes too much time and energy. Like, get a life. No.
Okay,
I hate those accounts. That's so dumb.
That really checks out.
I want to just say about Frumee. So
I was going to say this. You could say
okay,
it.
yeah, Jackie and I talk a lot on this podcast about how we personally don't have Instagram anymore. We deleted our Instagrams a long time ago.
Can I just tell you something? I want to delete it every day. Every
It's a different.
day.
It's a different ball game.
I can't imagine what it's like for you. Like
Every day. Like,
also, did the joy go away? Because like you did it in the beginning, you're posting these cute outfits, whatever. Now it's a job. Like
I'll be honest with you. So a friend of mine, my other very good friend, Sarah Schlisser Crone.
shout out, Sarah.
Shout out. All of my friends, I love you guys. I love you, Gila, Zava, my sisters, Aliza, Alana, Mari.
You guys all
Alyssa,
better
and
be following such a good
I'd
call.
like to thank Hashem. Anyways, no. So she actually, there were so many times I'd be like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. It's hell. And just to show up, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And she'd just be like, you need to find the joy that you had or you have,
Right.
or look at accounts that inspire you. And I promise you, like even today, I did, like, I'm going to do a reel, but like I did a video of me getting ready, and like that excited me.
Right.
You know, or like, you know, like I look at my closet and I'm like, oh my God, I have so much to wear. And then I'm like, I have nothing to wear. But then I'm just like,
Every day.
no, put this together. And like, that gives me excitement. Listen, like when I first started, I didn't have Ava yet. Like, life happened where then I had a newborn and I was finishing school. And then, you know, I fell off the grid a little when I had Charlotte because like I just could not keep up. And then I got on here again.
But then there's like COVID and there's wars and like you still like
Yeah,
I can't
so-
imagine like having to
show up or get up.
consistently. It's hard. Yeah.
But you know what? In that way, I feel like I have a responsibility. I think people want, like, I think I'm one of the last few influencers who still literally every day talk about the hostages or
Good for
post about
you.
it because it means something to me.
Right.
And
That's
I think,
so sad that
think
you're one of the last
No, I mean,
ones.
no,
No, that's sad.
I'll be honest with you. I don't follow many. I don't. It used to be because it was triggering, or it used to be because I didn't like them. I don't care anymore. I like you all. I don't really care. You do you. I do me.
Yeah.
My biggest competition is me. And
Yeah.
I actually, like, that's a big mantra of mine because, like, I can't keep up with every single Joe Schmo. I need to keep up with myself. And even that is hard.
Yeah, so that was my question. So basically, we don't have our own Instagrams, and then we
Right.
started this podcast, and we started Such a Good Call, and like we didn't follow anyone on it because we just want to see like baby
Yeah.
goats on our timeline. Like we
Yeah.
weren't like, and then
Yeah.
someone told us like you guys should really like build
From
your
a
Instagram.
business perspective,
It is.
it's silly
No,
not
make
to.
connections,
Yes,
reach
you have
out.
to do that.
Do you know that every time, I promise you, but this is what motivates me, literally a pair of shoes that I see and that I know that he would never, I'm just like,
Put it on your vision board.
no, not even that. I'm just like, okay, let's do a fashion show. And that's how I get my shoes.
Right.
Because otherwise, I don't know how I get it, but like that, I have to sometimes separate this as a
Business.
business.
Yes.
This is a business.
So what we
And-
did was I like reached out to some influencers that I
Respect.
followed
Yeah.
and liked, or content creators, and I reached out to you for me. Like Jackie, like her husband does.
what was this just now or
Yeah,
a while?
yeah.
No,
A
this was
while
just
ago.
now.
Okay, yeah.
And
I thought I was like, I want to be on it.
You did, and Frumee wrote back, and she's like, "Oh
She
my gosh,
answered
guys!
right
Like, I
away.
want to come on."
Oh my God.
And
Best
I'm
thing
like,
ever.
first of all, like out of all the influencers, like we need Frumee because she's real. Like
you.
we can have like listen to the conversations we're having now. Like not
No, I like
most people would not be able to do that.
I'm into
But
it.
also for me, like some of the girls that I know would love our podcast, they didn't even answer the DM. And I'm like, you're so not a girl's girl. Like for me, such a girl's girl that like
Yeah.
not only did she answer right away, she was like, can I come on? And we're like, yeah. Jackie
you.
and I like want to support, like,
So I'll be
especially
honest,
like
I
you're
only-
from girl. Let me answer you, of course.
I only recently became a girl's girl. And I'll tell you what's those, again, it's their insecurity and it's their feeling of feeling like threatened.
Yeah.
And it's because they're just not comfortable or confident with themselves. And
Right.
I only recently became like this because thank God I'm on that path or
Her
evolving.
journey.
My journey. But I really was never a girl's girl. And I'll tell you why. I was always a boy girl. 'Cause I-
Like the one your mom tells you to stay away from.
no, seriously. But because boys were so
Girls
nice.
before-
The bros before hoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
One Tree Hill.
Exactly.
By the way, whatever. We'll talk about One Tree Hill in a second.
Okay.
But I liked the boys, or I gravitated because they were nice to me.
Right,
And yes,
Right.
it was
maybe
because,
the girls were jealous.
or I never felt comfortable, or I was never secure with girlfriends ever, except
So
for like maybe
interesting.
certain, like Danielle was always like my
Right.
go-to, but even in high school, like it was just, I never felt comfortable. I always felt like girls were mean, or I felt excluded.
Do that. Like
triggering
we
for
are
you.
new to this space, and
Yeah.
I like messaged
No,
those
so
girls,
I'll
and they
t-
didn't answer me, and I was just like, ew.
I'll tell you.
What is like?
I'll tell you. So when I first started out, and also going through like Instagram with this competition
Yeah.
of influencers, it's just more of like, I'm not confident with myself. So these people that you reached out to, they're just not confident. They feel threatened by you. And they don't want, let's say, you to get their followers, or you to excel or exceed
Right.
them or succeed.
Do you think the space is like open and like helpful like to each other in terms of
No,
supporting?
not at all.
That's what we were finding when we were reaching
It's so
out, which is
sad.
so chaval.
Never.
Like
And it is sad because if you look into like the non-Jewish world of influencing, they're all best friends. They go on a Revolve
Yeah.
together. They go on these
Yeah.
all these festival things together.
Right.
All these things. They're best friends.
Yeah.
No, I never felt it. I still don't feel it. I find I don't know. I don't find that anyone's really supportive because I think there's a lot of jealousy.
Right.
Such a
Still.
shame.
And I still I think there's a
You
lot
can
of
even
fakeness.
see
I think
like
you could
clicks.
change that.
Like you can see that.
You know what? Like me and I could maybe think of one or two that like we're totally fine and cool and
Yeah.
play around. And I think that if anything, it's great content and it can like,
Of course. Yeah. Work together.
our like followings for sure. I think people just, I think influencers, it's unfortunately a catty business.
So cool.
And it is like, I used to be like that for sure. Now I don't care. Like if you want to, you know, hang out or like talk about things, let's do it. But like also be real about it. Like I cannot, there would be times that I go to like dinner parties for like launches of like different companies or brands. And like it was, I felt so uncomfortable only because I'm just like, you never spoke to me or you never would speak to me. One of them is like, oh, I saw that you did X, Y, and Z, but I don't follow you. And then I'm like, yes, you do. Like, give me a break.
Well, then how did you see
like,
that
give me a break. Or it's like, or you're checking me nonstop.
Right.
Whatever. But why does it have to be like that? Like, who cares? We're all in different...
Also, we see that on the podcast. Like, we see you on our stories. Like, we're not going to call. I don't care that you don't follow it, but we see it.
I just want you to know, I never look at who follows me. I never look at...
That's
like,
good.
really
I know.
I can't. Otherwise, I used to have an app when we first started of like
Who unfollows?
It was awful. Thing is, you should pray for them. I'll pray for you. I'll pray.
I love that.
Because like, what? Why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? What did I do to like? I'm just, you're just doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. And again, like we said, this isn't school. You're not forced to be here. If I'm here for your entertainment, amazing.
Right.
But like, also, like, you don't have to. Don't get so. Why are you so mad?
But also, like,
If they're girls who get it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
That's why I'm
biggies.
like, we don't need you. This is literally just for the girls who get it, for the girls, and like just good vibes
so
here.
especially, I think also another thing with just the support system and being a girls is that, finding those girls and feeling secure with them. It's like, I'm not trying to one up you. I'm not trying to take your followers. I don't care. You do you do me. No, but like, that's the thing is that like, I see even with my friends, I'm just like, I tell my friends, like when they're doing like a business venture or if they get something, I'm just like, your success is my success. I am so happy for you. And I want you. And I also say like, I want you to like go way past me or anyone so you can take me to Paris.
Yeah, please,
or like,
let's go.
Or like buy
We'll take
me
you to
hoodies. Like, guys, I don't want to work. You work. So I can
then we'll
reap
all
the
have
benefits.
fun.
I love that.
But literally that was like recent. That was
Is there
within the last
anyone
few
that's
years.
like you in the space that you like look up to or helped you at all?
Like business wise or like friends wise?
Yeah.
Both.
In the
like that
in
you
the
go
space.
to, like
Like it's probably such like a lonely thing if nobody's there.
I happens to be that me and I'm not saying this for like whatever. It's just she comes to mind just because like we were just talking about it. But like Lizzie, there are times that like we do like even with the whole bathing suit thing. Like she was just like you gotta just, and I can only imagine what she gets.
and she's a good person because she's all neshama. Like you can't look at her and think anything bad. Like who cares what she's wearing? Look what she's doing. Like
she's like a really
she's so from.
like a milateva whatever.
Yeah.
But she just says like she helped me with this whole pray for you thing because she's just like, you gotta just feel for them. The fact that they feel so upset and angry that they're reaching out to you to like
pathetic.
give you either a nasty comment or also like write a Megillah on like their advice to you or
I can't relate. No, I genuinely can't relate. Like
I know.
I don't understand why
Unhinged.
people do that.
And what about collabs? Like seeing that other people are getting like, is it hard?
I'm not gonna lie,
There's a limited amount of.
I mean, I speak about this I'm outright where I do, and it's true because it's like, it's not that I'm bitter. It's more of just like, imagine me literally taking the hobby of, let's say, my makeup and then going out there with my following and becoming now a makeup person on the side and like charging and people coming to me now and taking parnasa away from you where it's your actual parnasa. Like this is my actual job. Like I am not a hairstylist. I'm not an artist. I'm not a pottery maker. I'm not a makeup person. I'm not a jewelry person. I'm not. I am an influencer personality. Now listen, you could come at me if I like come with a talk show and like, whatever, which would be amazing.
We would love that. You could tell our space is wide open.
Yes.
I even asked you like, how do you make money on this? Because I want to do that.
Yeah, and we'll talk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, it could get it does get to me where I'm just like, wait, like you built a following doing a whole different craft, and yes, there are blurred lines for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, how are you doing a fashion show for this company when like you've never worked with them before? You're not even a fashion
Wait, I'm
model.
confused. You're saying that, like, who would be doing that? A random...
No, people in the space
That like start out doing different things and they end up influencing and they get brand deals and
I got
stuff.
it.
brand deals of just like doing like, let's say like fashion.
Right.
When they
like
weren't
they're
doing
real-
that.
Why wouldn't you do hair
Where
brand
their
deals
job
or-
really is they're a makeup artist or
they're
their
a
job is
hairstylist.
right. And like it could get a little. I'm only human. It could be like like I just saw actually someone who started working with a company that I used to work with, and she stopped working with me. Nothing bad, but she was just like, no, I just like I want to try and build up my Instagram without using any influencers. And now it's like I think 2 years later, and she started working with someone else, where I'm just like okay, okay. No, and like, it's okay. I'm like, I'm working on it myself where, yes, the space is
First of all,
for
it's all from
everyone.
Hashem.
It is. And like, another
But,
thing,
yeah.
like, my friend Sarah says, like, what's meant for you will be there for
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
And like, I am trying to be like, I'm manifesting, like.
No,
hey,
it's a thing.
But like, it is really a thing because I also think like, I need to have more of a positive attitude and positive energy because I really am a negative Nancy. And like, that's my nature.
Right.
Even though I come off as so like, yeah, but really I'm like, I hate you all.
But for me, I
But
also
what?
hear it for them because they're like, oh, you want to give me free stuff to try this
Yeah,
on? Like,
no, but this is more than that because
They're getting paid.
They're getting paid and they're also
Taking
charging less than I would because it's not their necessarily main income,
Right,
which
right.
is so like that gets to
I
me
hear
because
that
I'm like,
because it's a business at the end of the day.
yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I could also charge, let's say $300, but like, this isn't a side
Do
hustle
you
for
know
me.
how much everyone is charging? How do you
Not
know how
necessarily.
much
From
to
what
charge?
I hear, I charge the least, and I'm really angry.
Oh my gosh,
because
we
like
gotta get you on
I Lian Hara, Baruch Hashem, I know my influence, and
Yes.
the proof is in the pudding. I work with these brands constantly, and I have brands
And-
that still reach out.
Yes.
Yes.
We-
Oh my
You also
gosh.
like you've been with the same brands for a
Yeah,
really long
that
Which
just
says a
goes
lot
to
about
show
you.
something.
Yes.
I also try to be with these brands where I try to make it also worth it for them. Hey, work with me for 6 months. You'll get a better deal.
Yes.
And it will show.
You'll see the effect.
But
Yes.
also you'll see that people see that we're consistent and that we're not BSing anything.
Yeah.
And that like, oh, I actually want to wear your brand.
Yeah.
And like, it's mindful. Yeah, sorry.
No, are we good with time? Like, Jackie and I have mixed opinions about this.
Oh.
What happens if a brand reaches out to you and like you literally think it's the ugliest dresses in the world, but they're offering you a lot of money? Like, what do you do?
I think that's totally fine because let's say I would like the style, but you don't, but I'm seeing you try it on and that helps me.
But people, with me personally,
They know.
because I'm so authentic, they'd be like, "You never wear this,
Right.
though."
That's
I
what
don't
I feel.
think that's
like,
a problem.
No,
No,
I
because
wouldn't
then
be
it's
upset about
it.
it.
Feels like your credibility is coming into question because it's like whenever I work with a brand, I say, "Send me your lookbook or send me options, and I'll
Pick what-
choose."
right.
what you like.
And I really do. Like someone just sent me last night. I think like 15 options. I think I picked 7,
Right.
and she's like, "But can I?" She's like, "Can I just send you like 2 things just to push?" I said, "Yeah, go for it. I'll make
Right,
it
right.
look,
Right.
You'll make it
put
your own
style.
But it's so noticeable. Like
It is.
I
People
noticed right. I'm
know.
like, you would never
Yeah.
wear that.
Yeah.
I'm not like upset about it. I get
And
it.
like,
It's,
listen,
it's
like
money. But
even like the Frumee brands, and like, listen, everything is we are getting more to the right. Like as a community in general, as like a people are going to the right. So like, I may come off as like shiksai, but like I do think that like there are modest dressing that you could make look chic and cool.
Totally.
are you
and I'm all
altering
for
the
it.
stuff? I know that's a thing too.
There
that
are
like
some things I do and some things I don't. Like,
Right.
and like MIDI is very in now. So like that works for all benefits,
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like I was at the address yesterday. It really is the coolest freaking thing.
we are obsessed.
It is.
the first time I went, I was so emotional. I was like,
Emotions.
a
It
Jewish
is.
girl can walk in here and
It's
buy
so
anything
true.
off the rack.
So I was like telling my sister, who's like more like sneeze, and I'm like, Alana, this place, I know it's a drive, but it's a one-stop shop for
It's beautiful.
literally
Yeah.
everything.
It's
And
amazing.
It's beautiful. It's great.
Guys, I live so close to it. Just
Oh, I'm
saying.
jealous, actually. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
And you don't have to worry about returning and like.
And I hear, there's no
shipping.
sales tax.
Exactly.
Yes,
Jersey, baby.
Hello. Yeah, but then I pay for my tolls, whatever. Anyways, the thing is, I said to like, one of the head people, I'm just like, this is all great. It's gorgeous. I'm like, any like more like shorter style things coming? Because like, I felt like there's nothing really like, yes, you have some brands that have like, 19th inch, 20 inch,
Yeah.
but like there's
Like, are you even going into a store and buying things? Like,
now, I mean,
you just contact the company.
H&M.
Hey. No, I'm
Right.
saying in the address or address, as you said. I don't know how to say it.
you know what? Most of them I do work with, which is
Yeah,
great.
that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
I think there's like something that I need to work on. I think there's like a little bit of pride. Like, why didn't you reach out to me? But
hear that.
maybe I should reach out to them. So
Right.
thank you for that
Yeah.
little not Muster
Maybe,
Haskell.
but maybe they don't think.
Guys, I'm so yeshivish.
maybe they
so
don't think that Frumee would say yes. You never know.
No, not at all. Just like, hello, this is such good learning lessons for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even scared of the rejection. It's more of like, why wouldn't you reach out to me altogether?
Right.
But you know what? No, like, reach out to me, I'll reach out to you. You scratch me, I'll scratch you.
Right.
Like, and if it's not a
Call her up.
I may not be the representation that you want. Maybe I'm just not for them. Maybe I'm a little too risque. Guys,
Oh, yeah.
By the
Before
way,
we
can I
finish-
come back on here?
Yeah,
please.
This was
You
just
can come on
this was
every episode.
episode 1 with Frumee. We're gonna have a whole series.
Guys.
The Frumee series.
Very
Do we
excited.
need a third host?
By the way,
Legit.
yes.
The collab you didn't know you needed.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Guys.
Wait, we didn't even talk about books. You're a reader.
yeah.
I'm a big reader, guys. Even though it's been a little rough lately since the babes, but
Do
yeah,
you have
I'm
a Goodreads
still in
account?
middle of Lady Tan.
Guys, we told her about we saw I saw a post and she had Lady Tan in the
We're
Right.
obsessed with Lady Tan. Like, obsessed.
Guys, fun fact about me: I like in college. You also have to do like a foreign history like class major.
Sure, the historian over here.
I know all about Chinese history.
Wow.
You gotta tell us. We're
On the
like,
next
we're
episode.
an
I just want
Wait, guys, we
acupuncture.
only have a few minutes, so fire. Okay, keep the answer short for me. Do you have a Goodreads account?
I don't know. I'm on
You
like
need
I'm on
Goodreads.
some book
You
book
need-
chats, and I also I actually read up on books. Like I look at the
Jackie's the
reviews.
You
queen
need a
of
Goodreads, and you're gonna start influencing on Goodreads.
Okay.
Also, no, you need
Yeah.
Jackie's book recommendations.
I'll
Like she
also
drops
do
them
that.
every week on the pod. You're gonna
Okay.
start
Yeah,
listening,
I'll
and
give
you're
you that.
gonna.
I'm so excited. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's do it.
Well, it's saying that our time is out, so we are gonna wrap this up.
But
for
you'll have to
me,
come back. You'll have to come back.
This was so much
Thank
fun.
you so much for having me. I really I can't thank you enough to wanting to listen to anything that I have to say.
No,
But
and
still,
this was
I
such a
think what's
pleasure.
given me, and I'll end off with this. I think what's given me still like momentum is that I am super humbled and grateful literally every day
Right.
for this type of platform and this opportunity that I have this like koach and this ability to like either help or make someone laugh or
Yes.
influence in a outfit and or just bring them to their coming. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate
Of
it.
course.
Thanks
I
for
really-
asking to come on.
Yeah,
and for
and also
answering
I
us.
think
I'm coming on again.
no, you have
no,
to.
for sure.
I think this is really gonna like help people and
hope.
help
No,
people
for real.
give people more understanding.
I hope.
And we
Yeah.
had the best time.
Guys, we only
so-
scratched the surface.
Thank
There's
you for
literally,
opening
we
your
had-
heart.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi, don't.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
And that's a wrap.
Bye, Gwiggies.
Love ya.